Welcome back, everyone. We've reached our final module of the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to be taking a look at some live tiles now. We took a brief look at them and talked a little bit about what they are and possibly why you want to use them. But we'll dive a little bit more in depth about them.
Yeah. Well, there's lots you can do with them that people really haven't explored yet. So it'll be pretty interesting.
Exactly. So for this overview, basically we're going to talk a little bit about why use live tiles. We'll look at connecting Unity to live tiles, which is pretty simple, and I think it might be a little bit mind-blowing there when you see how easy it is. And then we'll show how to display some game information on the live tile.
Excellent.
Sound good? Okay, so I did show you my desktop before, but here's another shot of my desktop. And basically this is the first thing that the users are going to see, right? After you log in, right away you're going to see this start screen. And this is basically the first engagement that you're going to have for your users. So as you can see here, obviously it's in a standard or a non-flipping state because it's just an image. But you can see that I've got multiple different sizes of live tiles on this screen, right? So since the release of 8.1, we now have 4 different sizes for the live tiles. You've got your large size, you've got wide, you've got medium, and you've got small. Right? Now you can choose to use all of them and support all of them, or you can choose just to support a few.
Now what happens if you only support a few and the user tries to put it in that mode?
It won't give them the option.
Okay.
Right? So when you actually, you know what, that's good. I'm going to show them that. So if I go back to my desktop here, and you'll see when I select one of my tiles.
Did you hit escape?
Oh, sorry. Forgot to hit escape. There we go. There we go. Now you should be able to see my desktop. There we go. So you see right off the bat, we've got some live tiles here. So if I right-click on one of these tiles, you'll see down here at the bottom it pops up and says resize. Now I am able to resize it to large, medium, and small for that tile.
Okay.
Right? So let's go ahead and we'll make it large. So suddenly now it becomes very big, right? Now if you go up to our tile, and we're actually going to show you how to implement this, if you take a look at it, you now have the ability to resize down here again. If I click it, there's only medium and small available.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because that's all I've supported in this is medium and small. So that's the small version, right? And then if I click on it again and I go resize and I go back to medium, it gives me my medium size again. So if you don't support it, the user just won't have the option to create it, right? So that makes it a little easier on us developers. We don't have to worry about, will they break it by doing that, right?
Or even in a future update, you can roll it out, and now it supports it, and they'll be able to flick into it if you have a new mode or you have more data you want to show. Then you can go for a larger tile, support that, fill in more data.
Exactly. So, that's just a little bit about the sizes of the live tiles. It gives you a general understanding of what we're talking about when we're talking about these live tiles and tiles in general. So now, some of the reasons why you might want to use your live tiles. So, obviously, it keeps the users engaged, right? The best thing about indie game development is the fact that you build up a big, strong user base, right? That's what you're going for. You're trying to get all your users engaged and constantly wanting to play your game.
Right.
So one of the best things you can do with the live tile is you can engage your users without them having to even open it, right? So maybe you've got a new update and you've just released a brand new stage. You can send a notification to the live tiler and have it show up and say, look, now there's a new stage. Click on me and play me, right? And it's going to engage your users. It's going to make them want to click it and play it over and over again because they're getting that information. They're going to see that it's got updates. Even the new Windows Store tiles got live updates that, lets you know if you've got things to download or if there's a new thing out, right? It gives you some feedback.
Yeah, and that's always handy. Games, especially nowadays, are always evolving. We got all this free-to-play stuff. If you're doing a free-to-play game, you have a lot more way to get out the new features to your users that they may be interested in, to jump in, try out this new jetpack, this new turbo squid, whatever it is, and get a hold of it, and that'd be great.
So, we do things like with ours, we're doing a high score. So we're, every time you get a new high score, we're going to display this on the live tile, which is a pretty cool thing, right? So now if you got achievements and you just gained the latest achievement, right? You're going to pop that up on the tile. It's nice. It looks good. And it matches that design, right, of Windows 8.1. So, if you don't have a live tile, you're not going to fail certification, things like that. But it's just not going to have that extra layer of polish,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
And again, like I mentioned before, it's the first thing that the users are going to see once they log in, right? Once they log in, it goes to their start screen. They're going to see all these live tiles. If you've got a nice, pretty, flashy-looking live tile, right, it's going to draw their eye to it.
Well, or anybody else that's looking over their shoulder at their phone or going by their desktop or whatever, they should be like, oh, what's that game? I haven't seen that. I mean, it's effectively an advertising window also for other people going by, not necessarily just the person using it on their own computer. It could be other people as well. Screens are getting bigger. It's easier to see what people are doing. You want to watch, and it's just another piece of eye candy that can pick people up and get them interested, or show them where to go to purchase it, or whatever it is that you have on your tiles.
Yeah. So, that's a little bit about why you would want to use a live tile. Obviously, it's going to be different for every game and every use case, right? There's going to be things that you may or may not want to do, but there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of options that haven't even been explored yet. So play with it, figure out what works best for your game, make it flashy, make it fun, and you'll really drive your users.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's take a quick look at connecting Unity to live tiles. And honestly, in Unity 4.3, connecting to live tiles is extremely simple. Extremely simple. All we really have to do is add the following use statement here that allows us to have access to that Windows Store application namespace.
Oh, okay.
Right? So all we do at the top of our code is we added, using Unity Engine, the WSA, which stands for Windows Store Application.
WUSA.
WUSA. So the WUSA namespace includes the tile class. And in this tile class is what we can use to create our tiles, update secondary tiles on the start screen, and get instances of existing tiles and to send them notifications.
All right.
So that's it. Once you've added that use statement, you can now use it to work on your tiles. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. So far.
So far. I can promise you it's not going to get much harder.
Okay.
Okay. So then the next thing you do, now you've got this use statement and you've essentially connected it so that you can it knows about the tile class. And thank you to Unity for making this so simple. You're going to set up a simple function. So in our case, we set up a function called update tile that we pass in a score. Okay. And then we basically go through it and we say, okay, we set up a live tile. We assign it to the tile that's our main tile. And then we say update the tile. Now, the first, I'll walk you through this. It's that simple, really. But you're going to see here we have medium, wide, large, and then we have some text. So obviously, the first string that you pass in is going to be for your medium image.
Okay.
Your second image that you pass in is for your wide, and your third string is the image that you pass in for your large, followed by a string that's the actual text that you want to display. Pretty simple, right?
Yep, seems so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and in our actual example, when I jump into the code, I'll show it to you in just a second. All we've done is essentially said we've left the 3 blank. So that's why I'll show you the live tile in a second. But we don't pass in any images because I thought, a black image with some white text, that looks pretty good with our little sumo logo in the corner. I'm like, I really don't need to pass in any other images. But you could pass in images. So say you had an achievement, you could maybe pass in like a trophy or something,
sure.
Right?
Yep.
Or a flashy, you've got a brand new add-on and you've got some cool concept art for your add-on or something.
Like a new character or
exactly.
a new helmet or something. You could ram it up in the icon, see it.
Yeah, and you could pass that all through right here, right? As well as you could add some text.
Okay.
So all we've done is we've left those blanks in our example, but we just pass in text that says, the best round time that we've gotten so far, and then we call out to our score, right? Because we've passed in a score. We turn that into a string, give it a little formatting so we're only got 2 decimal places, so it's not this long float number that goes on forever. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's literally how hard it is to pass information to a live tile.
Okay. Well, show us some code.
I'll show you the code.
Prove it. Video or it didn't happen.
So I'm actually going to just jump in here, and because I love my Visual Studio Editor, I'm going to jump in here. I go into my game controller class, and again, if I scroll right up to the top, I've got my if we're using Metro, because this isn't how it's done on the phone. This is only for the Metro. Or not Metro, but for Windows Store applications. And so what I do is I add the using statement. So using Unity Engine.WSA, the WSA or Windows Store application. And that lets me basically access anything in the WSA namespace.
Okay.
So then I scroll down to the bottom here, and I've actually added the function here. Let's get right down to the bottom there. As you can see, it's tucked away. We've got our update tile. So in here, again, I've commented this nicely so I can remind everybody what's going on and the things that we've done. So we say, our new tile holder is assigned to our tile main, and then we do the live tile update. So, I've created this variable called live tile, and I say on my live tile update, and I'm passing in, again, like I said, I'm passing in 3 blank strings because I don't want to change the image. I like the black background. And then I just pass in my best round time, followed by the score string right that attaches it. So I concatenate that string with my score.
And again, that update tile function isn't a Unity mono behavior function. You are calling it from that other place in code.
Mm-hmm, exactly, right? So what happens is when I go into my game...
Right there.
Oh, sorry, did I already pass it?
Yeah, you've got it hidden right there, Unity Metro.
Oh, there you go, thank you. So what happens is when I get my high score, so I check to see if the current high score, and it's actually a high score. Then we step inside here, and if I'm running on the Windows Store platform, again, this is where we share our high score, right? So this is what we showed you in the earlier module, where it actually pops out the share charm.
Right. When I push the guy out, it asks me, would I like to email this or whatever to somebody?
Exactly. This is where that code's being called.
Okay.
And then we just say update tile, and we pass in the current score. And away we go.
So it updates both at the same time now.
Yeah, exactly, right? So there we go. So you know what? Why don't you, because you know the AI and you're able to beat it. So
want me to trick it again?
So go ahead and trick the AI and see if you can get a good score, and then show them on your screen what the updated tile looks like.
Okay, well,
why don't you first show them the tile so they can actually see the tile?
I already got the game running. Let me get back out there. Close.
Just so they can actually see that it changes.
Sure. All right, so... Windows key.
Yeah. Just start typing sumo blocks. This is another great feature about Windows 8 and 8.1. If you're looking for something...
Except I already had it running.
Oh, yeah, you didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
So what to do is just type sumo blocks, and then right-click on it. There you go. And then say pin to start.
There we go.
So, yeah, like I was saying there, if you're looking for something on your computer, just start typing it. And it'll literally pull up a list of things that are available on your computer with those characters, right?
Of course, I don't want it to be the last thing. I just made this amazing game. I want it up here. So
let's put it right at the beginning there.
Perfect.
So go ahead and click that. It's going to...
I just want to see, so resize. Yeah, it works for me too.
Now, if we have it small,
okay,
it's not going to actually do a live tile update because it's too small to have any text on it, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
so
that's good to know.
If it's in a small function or format like that, you're not going to actually see any live tile updates.
So it has to be medium.
So it has to be medium or bigger to actually have this live tile feature, right?
All right. Well, I'll leave it at medium then, and I'll just click on it there, and you can see this is that updated build that I was playing with. So it is going. And then, of course, I don't know what my previous best score is, so hopefully I can beat him here.
Oh,
come on. Oh, no. I'll try to get around this side of him. No.
Oh.
There you go.
So, there's your best score so far, 17.75.
All right. So if I pop out of this now.
Yeah, go back to your screen there, and if you wait for a second, you'll see.
Assuming that it was my new high score.
Yeah, assuming it was your new high score, it might not pop up right away for you.
No. Actually, I guess it wasn't my high score because it didn't ask me for the mail.
Oh, no, that's true.
That's true. So I'm going to reset the game. Well, we'll show that in a second then. You continue on, and I'll nuke my score profile effectively.
Yeah, so basically all you have to do really is go back to your home screen there.
Yep.
Right-click on your live tile, and then just click on install.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
And then it'll actually remove the game.
Perfect.
There you go. And then go ahead and build it again.
All right. Build this up again. Make sure I have everything enabled and I didn't remove anything. Looks good. Actually, I didn't. There we go. Running. And now I got to try to beat him again. Nope. Got me. Try one more. I'm going to get you.
There you go.
There you go.
So
Okay.
there you go. Now you got a high score,
Perfect.
so the share pops out. And you could go ahead and mail that. Or if you had Facebook or anything
Yep.
else installed, you could send it
I'm
that
just going
way.
to ignore that one for now.
Yeah. So go ahead and go back to your home screen. And
There
there you
it
go.
is.
Best round time, 6.83.
That's not my best. I've done
I don't
better.
think you could beat that.
I've done better. I have done better.
Yeah, I've watched you play. You have been doing pretty good with it. But there you go. That's it. That's how easy it is to set up a very simple live tile.
Nice.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, that nice little black background worked perfectly fine for that. With the sumo block icon down, mini in the corner. But I mean, I could definitely see ways to dress that up or attract more attention to it, and shout out more notifications to people so that they see what's going on in my game or what's new and bring them in.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's setting up live tiles. It can't get much simpler than that, really. So yeah, like, you know, we've talked a lot about different things that you can do with porting today. Mm-hmm. You know, we went through what you need to get started.
Yep.
We've talked a little bit about what to keep in mind when porting.
Mm-hmm. The difference is you worried about platforms and things to consider ahead of time. When you make new games and you know you're going to start porting to these platforms, you might as well keep a bunch of these considerations ahead of time. Yeah.
We've looked at ideas to deal with the dual runtime environment.
Yes,
So
which is important.
Yes, very important. So things like preprocessor directives, where to place your plugins.
That one as well.
Stuff like that. We built a direct connection between our Unity and Visual Studio Code.
Right, which also could be done by a plugin if you wish to expand it a little bit more and do it.
If you need something that's a little more hefty that can, you know, handle a bunch of different cases, then yes, you can do some sort of plugin or something like that. But in general, we just kept it light, and as you can see, that's what we leveraged to do a lot of this stuff, like the share in our live tiles and stuff like that. We were using this Windows Gateway class.
Yeah.
We took a look at how to build a Windows Store project. Mm-hmm. We also looked at using share in our game, which, as you can see, was a lot of fun. It was pretty neat, and you know, you can start emailing your friends with all your high scores and posting into Facebook or Twitter or whatever it might be. We took a quick look at handling screen size changes.
Yep. Snapping it around,
Yeah, and what you can do, and some
or having it pause when you don't have enough screen space, for example. That was a good one.
Right. And there's a lot of things you can do with that. That could be a lot of fun, right? We mentioned things like mini games.
That's true.
And having the ability, maybe if it's an RPG, you know, you pop up a quest list or something like that. You can have a lot of fun with it, but just make sure you give your users some feedback when it comes to the handling the screen resizes.
That's right.
We also looked at how to deal with the app visibility changes. So this is basically when your app goes out of view. So, you know, they're playing your game, maybe they hit the start button or the start screen button, they go back to that start screen, and suddenly your game doesn't have focus anymore. You don't want that to continue playing, so we showed you a simple way to basically pause it so that when they come back, it's in the same state, and they're not mad because, you know, they lost to the sumo when they weren't even playing the game, right?
That's right.
We also took a quick look at building for the Windows Phone and the steps required to do that. Mm-hmm. We used accelerometer for our input.
Yep, got that done.
Right, and showed how simple that can be and how it works on all the different platforms. So if you've already created a game that uses that, there's really no porting involved.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. We took a look at handling the back button presses, which is, of course, one of the certification requirements, and it is necessary to do.
That one does have to be done.
Right.
Yes.
We mentioned things like you want to make sure that you're handling it contextually. So if you're in a menu, go back to the previous menu. If you've got a dialog box pop up, exit the dialog box. And, you know, if you're at the main menu or you have no menu or dialogues, just exit the game. We took a look at implementing an extended splash screen. So, you know, giving the user feedback, well, your game loads so they don't just think it's broken, and they close your app, or, you know, if you go past the 5 seconds, you will fail the certification, right?
So having those loading bars or some other splash screens or ads come up one after the other, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ways you can handle it, and you can have a lot of fun with that. We took a quick look at using live tiles.
Simple, easy.
Very simple and very easy. You know, overall today, I think that we basically showed it's a very simple task.
Yeah.
To bring your game to the Windows Store and Windows Phone platforms.
Yeah, there wasn't really any headaches, and we were doing some of this live on the fly, no real issues bringing it across.
Exactly, right? It's a pretty simple situation, and again, it opens you up to a brand new user base with a brand, like a newer store, and you're going to be able to reach a wider audience by doing this.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Which is very important for us indie developers. We want to get our game being played by as many people as possible. So yeah, that's what we covered today. Moving forward, if you're looking for a little bit more information, maybe based around Unity itself, a good place to start is looking at the unity3d.com/learn. They have some great tutorials on there if you're looking to learn a little bit more about Unity. So that's a good way to get started that way. And if you want, you can, again, we mentioned some of them today, but go ahead and enhance your game with some of the Windows Store and Windows Phone features out there, right? Add the tiles and the push notifications, add the splash screen images, add search and share, things like that. Just extend your game, right? And finally, going from here, bring your game to the Windows Store and become famous, right? Become famous, and then when you're doing your Fortune magazine article, make sure you mention Brian and myself, so we can get a little bit of fame. Ride your coattails, so to speak.
I'll take 15 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah, I love the 15 minutes. That'd be great. So yeah, I'm going to put this up on the screen here, so you guys can see again where the code is that you can download today. What we were doing. Right. And while they're copying this and frantically writing it down because they're worried I'm going to change it. Is there anything in the questions?
The questions at the moment, no, but we do have to mention about the poll as well, that there's going to be a poll there at the bottom.
Yeah. So make sure when we're all finished up that you go ahead and take that poll and let us know. We want some good feedback. We want to know how well we did, right? And so yeah, make sure you fill out that poll before you leave.
So the only question was, can we get the Sumo game file? And
well, there you go.
Just did that. So
yeah, it's right there on the slide. So feel free to download it, tweak it out. We've got no copyrights on it, so do whatever you like with it.
Yeah, it's all yours now.
Yeah, in fact, I can't wait to see some Sumo games in the store.
Other than that, I don't see any newer questions that we hadn't already answered, other than the wavy animation one, which, I mean, again, yeah, shaders ray is probably the way you're going to go about doing it. Do I have a nice catch-all fix for you at the moment? No, not unfortunately, not for something like that. But other than that, all the Windows porting questions seem to be covered. So thanks everybody for coming along and
yeah, thanks for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned a little bit about Unity, and we've kind of sparked you to want to go out there and port your games over, and like I said, become famous and yeah.
And if you'd like to see future things like this, make sure you fill out those polls, get your answers in, let us know. Feedback, it's always appreciated.
Thank you very much, and happy coding.